The playoff bubble has once again been burst, and we have our 15th different winner of 2022. This guy is a guy who we expected to win at the beginning of this season. It's shocking that he's been on as long of a winless streak that he has been on. We are talking about Kevin Harvick, the 2014 Cup Series champion, got his first win since Bristol of 2020 today at Michigan. His 6th win at Michigan. As I said, his first win of 2022. Only Ford's 5th win of the season. So it's been a struggle of a year for Ford as well. But Kevin Harvick came here today into Michigan knowing that this was one of their best shots at getting a win. They had to win to make the playoffs, and they did just that. They got themselves a very, very important win. They were considering, well, almost mathematically everything was a must-win coming into this race. And Michigan was one of their best shots to do it. As I said, very good history. Has won 4 of the last 6 races at Michigan, 5 total. They're just really, really good at Michigan. There's no other way to say it. Kevin Harvick knows how to win at Michigan, and as of the last few years, they know how to get it done. Something about this track, something about Stewart-Haas Racing, Rodney Childers, and Kevin Harvick, they know how to win at Michigan. So coming into today, they knew that this was one of their best shots, only 4 races left in the regular season, and they got it done. They weren't the most dominant car. They didn't lead the most laps, but they showed up late when it mattered, and they won. Now, what does this do to the playoff bubble? It does quite a bit. Martin Truex Jr., who is 4th in the regular season point standings, is out of the playoffs as of today. That's right. He's out of the playoffs, and he is 4th in points. That is insane. That has never happened before. We've never had 16 winners in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, the win in your in system. This year, it was looking very likely. We had 14 winners in the first 24, 22 races. I can't remember the number. But then, we saw some repeat winners. We saw Chase Elliott win a couple of races. We saw Tyler Reddick repeat as a winner. We saw repeat winners. But then today, we saw Bubba Wallace was really fast. As I said, Kevin Harvick. We saw some guys up front who hadn't won a race, and it was looking like maybe it could happen. And then Kevin Harvick wins, and all of a sudden, the fight for the last position in the playoffs is between 2 guys in regular season points who are 2nd and 4th in the standings. Of course, if we get a 16th winner who is neither of those guys, both of them are out, which is insane to say. That is crazy that I am saying that, but it is an actual possibility that the guy 2nd and 4th in the regular season points could be out of the playoffs. I can't believe it. And it's nothing against Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is top 10 in points. He's actually had a decent season. He hasn't been terrible. He's actually been pretty decent, pretty consistent. But they just haven't had winning speed most of the year. They had a really good car at Richmond. They had a really good car this weekend, obviously. But they've done enough to stay in the top 10 in points. So, that's why they were kind of in that points battle until they lost some ground on Truex. But it's just crazy that there are going to be guys like 16th, 17th, 18th in points that are going to make the playoffs, and guys who are 2nd and 4th could not make it. Anyways, that's a rant for another day. Let's talk about Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick, another clutch performance by him. He seems to really step up in these situations, him and that Ford team. You look at over his career, over the playoffs, whatever it may be, when he has had to win, he has done it. In 2014, he had to win at Phoenix to make it to the championship 4. He won that race. He had to win at Homestead to win the championship. He did just that. He had to win at Dover the following year in the 1st or 2nd round to advance to the next round. He did just that. And then you look at this year. He had to win to make it into the playoffs, and he does it with just 3 races to spare. Richmond, Watkins Glen, Daytona. That will close out our regular season. But a very impressive performance by Kevin Harvick. As I said, was he the best car today? No, he was not. Was he a top 5 car? I would say so. He kept himself in position. They had a really good long run car that got them back in position. So, pit strategy or, maybe a bad pit stop, something that put them in the back half of the top 10, maybe just outside of the top 10. They were able, after 10 or so laps, to start picking people off, starting to get up through the field, get up into the top 5, which is what he did in that last long run. He was able to get back into the top 5, was up there with Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney. Was it Ryan Blaney? I can't remember who was all in that battle. Maybe Eric Jones. But he was able to get up there. And so when the leaders, Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain, pitted, he pitted as well. but he was able to somehow stay on the lead lap, and then Chastain and Suarez, they ended up, getting lapped, and Ross Chastain got involved in a crash with Christopher Bell. Bell thought he was clear. That was on Bell, by the way. This is not a week that we get to blame Ross Chastain for a crash. That is a good week for Chastain. Anyways, Bell gets in a crash. Harvick's able to get his lap back, and he's in the lead the following restart. Everything works out really well for him. Really good timing in terms of the caution. Ends up being the leader. Gets ahead on the restart, and Joey Logano was able to get ahead of Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace arguably had a faster car, but because he was stuck behind Joey Logano for so long, Harvick was able to pull out a 4 or 5 second lead, and Harvick ran away with the win. So an impressive day for Kevin Harvick and that Ford team. I mean, as I said, they are clutch. They know how to win in these situations. They've done it before, and they have shown once again how clutch that team can be. Kevin Harvick, he's getting up there in age, 46. So you never know when his last win could be, but he still seems motivated as ever. He still seems confident as ever. And, despite not having the wins the last year and a half, however long it's been, he seems to still be able to show that he can win races. So, as I said, his first win since Bristol 2020, I think they said was a 65-race winless streak, somewhere in there in the 60s. So a very long winless streak, and, his last win was a part of that season that he arguably should have won the championship in 2020 when he had 9 wins. So going winless last year was a big shock, and then being winless this far in 2022 was another shock, but he gets himself a win today. Other big playoff implications, I mean, Bubba Wallace, it would have been the same situation if he would have won. It would have been a playoff bubble bursted. He would have been the 15th winner. Truex would be out. The whole same situation, but yeah, let's look at the results. It was a very good Michigan race today. I mean, there was battles all across the track, 3 wide, 2 wide, top versus bottom. There was kind of tandem drafting, but not really. It was really weird, but it was a really good race, actually, surprisingly. Michigan hasn't had the greatest races the past few years ever since the repave, but, it's had its moments, but today was a really good race. So let's talk about the winner, Kevin Harvick. We've talked about him for like 5 minutes already, but of course this win puts him in the NASCAR playoffs. He wasn't in before. He was a big chunk of points, more than a race out in terms of points, but he's had a decent season. He hasn't had a terrible season, but by Kevin Harvick standards, it has not been a great season. They haven't won races. They haven't been contending for wins a lot, but today they contended for a win and they locked up the win. So big win for Kevin Harvick, a much needed win, and he is now in the playoffs if he passes inspection. Just remember, inspection is still a thing. It's only happened once in the last 60 years that someone's failed it, but I'm still sensitive about this subject ever since the Denny Hamlin disqualification. I still can't believe that. Bubba Wallace, second place, his 4th straight top 10. That's a career high for him, 4 straight top 10s. Runner-up finish, but unfortunately 1 spot short of the win. Top 5 car all day, top 3 car all day long. Led 20-plus laps early in the day off pole position. He was up there contending for the lead with Denny Hamlin, who probably had the best car today. He was making passes, making really good moves. Got a lot of experience up front today, which is really good for him for a good young driver. And him in second place. Unfortunately, it doesn't get him into the playoffs. He does still need to win to make the playoffs, but a huge step of improvement and a huge confidence booster for Bubba Wallace. These last 4 weeks has been really good for Bubba Wallace. 3rd place at New Hampshire, top 10 at Pocono. Can't remember exactly where he finished. A 5th at the Indianapolis road course, and he's never been great at road courses. And today at Michigan, he had one of the best cars, drove one of the best races he's driven in his career, but unfortunately 1 spot short. Very good run for him. 3rd place, Denny Hamlin. They should have won that race. They were the fastest car today. They led a ton of laps. They won stage 2. They found a way to make these insane passes that no one else seemed to be able to make. It didn't matter if it was a restart, long green flag run. They can make passes whenever they wanted. Unfortunately, last pit stop of the day, tire gets out of the box. Pit crew member jumps over the wall or out of the box, or too many pit crew members over the wall, something like that, and he has to restart at the tail end. He ends up rallying back to finish 3rd. Don't get playoff points for 3rd. Don't get a trophy for 3rd. So Denny Hamlin should have been a win today. Very good race for him, but it's a team effort, and the team messed up. 4th place, Joey Logano. Joey Logano had an up and down day. Early in the race, he was up 2nd place, looking good. Fell back a little bit, wasn't looking great there. But then a late race strategy kind of helped him out. He's in 2nd place, holding up Bubba Wallace, and he ends up finishing 4th. Really good day. Unfortunately, probably did cost Bubba Wallace a shot at the win just because he held him up so long, but that is racing. But really good day for Logano. Really good day. Really good points day for him. He's already in the playoffs with his 2 wins. 5th place, Ryan Blaney now is on the playoff bubble, only 20 or so points above Martin Truex Jr. in the standings. Was passed by Truex with about 6 or 7 to go, but was able to get back by. So while he is in for now, it is a very small gap in points, and it only takes one more winner to knock him out. So Blaney desperately needs a win. Going to Richmond, a place where he led over 100 laps in the spring. Going to look for an opportunity to win there. Going to need a win there. Same situation for Martin Truex Jr. He is now out of the playoffs. He can mathematically make it in on points. Heck, he could get in on points next week if Blaney has a bad day. But with the situation being 15 different winners, and, you know, if a Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, someone like that wins, then you're out of the playoffs, you and Blaney. So Truex is going to need a win. So as good as the 6th place finish is, unfortunately, it doesn't do much for you. And let's talk about the disappointment of Toyota real quick. Toyota, fast all weekend. Like 4 of the top 6 positions in qualifying or something, or all 7 of them in the top 11, whatever it was. They lead a ton of laps. They win the stages. They don't win. They finish 2nd and 3rd. One of their cars crashes out in the first 30 laps. Another one crashes late in this race. Penalties by multiple cars. I mean, they threw this race away. They should have won. Whether it was Bubba, whether it was Denny, whether it was Bell, Kyle Busch, they had this win, and they threw it away. They should have won this race. But Ford continues to hold its dominance at Michigan. They won again. Anyway, 7th place, Kyle Larson. He had a top 5 car at times, but ends up finishing 7th. Kind of shot himself in the foot with a speeding penalty late in this race. 8th place, Eric Jones. Had a top 10 car all day, but he needs a win to get into the playoffs. 9th place, Alex Bowman. Terrible start to the weekend. I mean, like, he was awful. Qualified 30th, but he ends up with a top 10. Pretty decent run for them. They've been in a slump, so top 10 is really good for them. For the first time in his career, Ty Gibbs gets a top 10 in the Cup Series. As I said, Toyota showing a lot of speed this weekend. Ty Gibbs still subbing for Kurt Busch, who we hope is better. Hope it is back next week at Richmond. But Ty Gibbs, a really good run for him today. He's got a lot of experience in the Cup car now. 3 very different tracks with Pocono, the Indianapolis road course, and now Michigan. And he got a top 10 at Michigan. So good result, very good result for the rookie. 11th place, Chase Elliott, irrelevant all day long. I don't think he ran in the top 10 except for like 5 laps there at the end. 11th place for him. 12th place, William Byron. 13th, Austin Dillon. 14th, Ty Dillon. Good job for Ty Dillon. Good result for him. Good day for Petty GMS. 15th, Brad Keselowski. They did some strategy there. They were able to get up there in the top 5, contend for some stage points. I think they got some stage points, but he needs to win as well. 16th, Buescher needs to win. He was sponsored by LeBron James today. That was pretty funny. You had LeBron versus Michael Jordan on the racetrack. Crazy. 17th, Justin Haley. 18th in his Cup Series debut, Austin Hill. Really good Cup Series debut for him. 18th. 19th, Corey LaJoie. 20th, Chase Briscoe. 21st, Josh Bilicki. 22nd, Cody Ware. Good day for Cody Ware. 23rd, BJ McLeod. Get loud for McLeod. 24th, Raj Chastain. 25th, Daniel Suarez. They were leading late, heading into the last green flag cycle, but unfortunately, they pitted first, and then unfortunately after that, Christopher Bell thought he was clear, wrecked Chastain and himself. The caution came out. They got pinned a lap down. Suarez had made his way up back to like 11th or 12th, but blew a tire with about 4 to go. Had to pit, ends up finishing 25th. Chastain, unfortunately, had a penalty earlier in the day. He was able to come back from that, but 14th or 24th for him. 26th, Christopher Bell. Yeah, Christopher Bell had a top 5 car, one of the best cars all day. And during that cycle, just thought he was clear and slammed into the wall in Chastain. Yeah, I can't blame Chastain for that one. No matter how much you're upset at Chastain for whatever he's done this season, that's not on him. Bell thought he was clear, and he was very not clear. Hit the wall. That's on Bell. So, shot himself in the foot. Ends up costing him a really good result, potentially a win. 26th for him. 27th, Todd Gilliland. 28th, Michael McDowell. Involved in a lap one, or not lap one, like a first lap of a restart early in the race, like after the competition caution. We haven't even talked about how this race was rain delayed. That's how crazy this race was. But yeah, J.J. Yeley just lost the car, and it just all went to hell after that. I mean, Austin Cindric hit the wall hard. I really hope he's okay. Like, he got out of the car, he walked away, they talked to him at the infield care center, but he hit really hard. Like, that's the most front-end damage I've seen to a next-gen car since the beginning of the season. We've seen hits, like head-on hits, but he hit while going really fast in a very small space. The safer barrier was pushed very far back, doing its job, thankfully, but my goodness, Austin Cindric hit hard. Hopefully he is okay. 29th, Tyler Reddick had an engine problem. He was up in the top 10 most of the day. Noah Gragson, he had a fantastic day. He was up in the top 5 at one point based off speed. They were looking really good. Unfortunately, got into the wall, crashed. It destroyed the rear toe link and just couldn't do anything about it. Had more damage than that. Ends up finishing 30th. Cole Custer, 31st. The car caught on fire. The left front just up in flames. He had multiple left front tires go down, then it caught on fire. Tough day for Cole Custer. That's the story of their season. 32nd, Harrison Burton. He was in that lap 1 incident. So are the rest of these people. Stenhouse, Almirola, J.J. Yeley, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric. Really hope Cindric's okay. Kyle Busch, as for him, had arguably a race-winning car. Really good speed all weekend, but got involved in that wreck. They all decided to pit. All these guys decided to pit just due to the strategy that the race was going. A lot of people stayed out for stage points for the stage win because it kind of split the first stage in half, the competition caution. So some of those guys staying out for stage points or the playoff points. Others electing to pit then, have track position for the second stage, but yeah, it ended up not working out for a good chunk of guys. So we saw a big one in this race. We saw different strategies in this race. We saw a new winner that destroyed the playoff bubble, and we saw good racing. It was a really good Michigan race. We haven't seen a good Michigan race in quite a while. So, you know, wow, really good Michigan race. 8 or 9 out of 10. Like, really good race. Kevin Harvick becomes our 15th different winner. We are one winner away from having 16 winners, having a full playoff grid of winners. Man, if Blaney and Truex miss, that's going to be the craziest storyline in quite a while. I think I had Blaney in my preseason Final Four, too, so that's going to be a bad look for me. But anyways, Kevin Harvick with a big win today. Congratulations to him and the team. Thank you for watching this video. I know it was a longer one, but we had a lot to talk about, so leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk more about the races in the upcoming weeks. The playoffs, I'll give a playoff grid update tomorrow, and yeah, we'll see what else happens this week in NASCAR.